COVID-19, ito ay ang mga sumusunod, lagnat, pagkapagod, at dry cough, habang sa ilan naman ay sipon at baradong ilong, sore throat o diarrhea. May ilan naman na wala pang sintomas, pero pwede pa rin nilang maipasa ang virus sa iba. Kung ikaw ay nasa mga lugar kung saan kumakalat ang COVID-19 o kaya may close contact sa mga taong kumpirmadong may COVID-19 o sa mga nag-aalaga sa kanila, ipagbigay alam ito sa health worker sa inyong barangay. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Radyo Katipunan is now online. See our live feed on facebook.com/radyo-katipunan. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter at Radyo Katipunan and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Radyo Katipunan FM for more exclusive content.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
catch us on
New Wave, surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there!
Baka naman pwede.
Baka naman pwede?
Baka naman pwede. Mga isyung napapanahon, ating pag-usapan.
Baka naman pwede.
Gamit ang mga pananaw mula sa iba't ibang kalinangan.
Baka naman pwede.
Mula sa Institute of Philippine Culture, kami inyong samahan, tayo'y maghuntahan. Dito lang sa Baka Naman Pwede. Tuwing Huwebes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Wanna find out more about the famed org community of the Ateneo? Yeah! Wondering what projects and initiatives our student organizations are currently up to? Curious to hear the perspectives and motivations of the different people that make up the org community? Tara na't magkwentuhan! Kuwentuhang MVP takes you to the vibrant and passionate organization community of the Ateneo de Manila. Tune in every Friday as we catch up with our student leaders and our organizations and find out how they're continually pushing forth with their advocacies. Kuwentuhang MVP, taking the MVP to you.
Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Good morning, Ateneo! Start your day right with your morning wake-up call. Good morning, Ateneo! Catch the latest news and stories around the campus. Good morning, Ateneo! Your daily dose of radio chikahan, tawanan, kantahan, and kwentuhan. Every morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Tuesdays to Fridays. Good morning, Ateneo! Your mornings will never be the same again. Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields as we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang social-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Getting reliable health information about the COVID-19 outbreak can be a lifesaver. In times of crisis, it is essential to guarantee freedom of expression and the right to public information, in particular to counter the spread of disinformation. During the COVID-19 outbreak, only trust official information sources and credible media outlets. Do not share unverified information. This is a message from UNESCO.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle. Tara na't simulan ang inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Mare, may COVID si Lord. Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng, book author at editor. Magkapit pandasal muna tayo. Usong-uso ngayon ang Marites, short for Mare, anong latest? Ang haba na nga ng listahan. Marisa, short for Mare, isa pa. Marieta, Mare, ito pa. At Maricon, Mare, confirmed na. Pero ang pinakabago kong narinig ay Mariel. Short for Mare, ano ang gospel? Ang gospel, Mare, ang magandang balita ay kasama natin ang Diyos anuman ang ating pinagdadaanan. Sabi ni Madeleine L'Engle, ang Diyos ay naghihimasok sa pinakateribleng mga pangyayari at inaadya tayo. Walang nangyayari sa atin lamang. Nangyayari din ito sa Diyos. Kaibigan, may sakit ka ba? COVID positive? May cancer? O iba pang malubhang sakit? May COVID din ang Diyos at kasama mo siya sa iyong quarantine. May cancer din siya at kasabay mong mag-therapy. Anumang pagdurusa ang pinagdadaanan mo, pinagdadaanan din ng Diyos ngayon. Kasabay mo. Oo, kaibigan, kasabay natin ang Diyos sa bawat sandali ng ating buhay. Tayo magdasal. Jesus, salamat dahil lahat ng aking pagdurusa ay ipinako mo na sa iyong krus. Amen.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Ipag the Blue Eagle, galing hiting at tigil. Katipunan.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, mga tagapakinig sa ating Friday episode ng Kuwentuhang Bayan dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Live po tayo ngayon sa ating mga social media channels. You can check SLB, you can check CEAP and ang ating Radyo Katipunan Facebook page.
Ayan, magandang umaga sa mga katipunero at katipunera na sumusubaybay sa ating programa at sumasabay linggo-linggo, no? Of course, special greetings din po sa mga nakikinig ngayon sa CEAP National Secretariat po. Alam ko yung mga members po dyan, marami po nakikinig. Also our members from BARM and Region 12, good morning din sa inyong lahat. And of course, yung mga nagko-comment na dyan, no? Si Ma'am Hilda Abril, good morning po. Miss Esperanza Aguilar, and of course, kay Che How, no? So, magandang umaga.
Sana po maganda po yung morning nating lahat. Ako po si Xavier mula po sa Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan at nandito po si...
Ayan, ako naman po si Carlo from the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines.
Carlo, ano nga ba yung episode natin ngayong araw?
Well, ang focus naman natin ngayon, Save, no? So, sa mga nagsumusunod sa ating programa, no, every week we go through the different regions of the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines. And for today, our focus will be on Region 12 or the Notre Dame Educational Association and of course CEAP BARM. Ayan, so very unique actually ang episode natin ngayong araw, si
Yes, so para po sa kaalaman ng iba, nagsama po yung SLB at CEAP. Lalo po dun sa mga hindi pa first time listeners po natin, nagsama po ang dalawang institusyong ito para mabuo po yung programa na tinatawag nating Kuwentuhang Halalan sa Kuwentuhang Bayan. Although hindi lang naman halalan yung pag-uusapan natin, pag-uusapan din natin yung iba't ibang mahalagang issue sa ating bansa and yung kagaya nga ng sabi ni Carlo, particularly dun sa mga regions na kasama natin ngayon. At meron po tayong mga representatives po na pag-uusapan nila kung ano yung mga specifically local issues sa kanilang lugar.
Yeah. So actually, kasama natin, may 4 po tayo na guests, no? At sila magbabahagi tungkol sa mga issue ng regions nila. Kasi kami, naniniwala kami, no? Sa CAP, sa SLB, at iba't ibang partners po namin, no? Na importante ang election natin na pinapag-usapan yung mga importanteng issue, no? Especially for us in CEAP, it's education, no? What are the education issues na importante? Alam naman po natin mga balita na po na naririnig natin sa national on the state of our education, on the need to improve quality access, mas lalo na na-aggravate din siya during this pandemic. So we'd love to hear also the situation of what's happening in Region 12 and of course in the BARM region. So ngayong umaga, kasama po natin 4 guests who will be sharing with us. And when we call your name, maybe you can just say a quick hi po, no? So una po namin i-invite, of course, nandito si Father Ed Santoyo, OMI, of course, the BARM trustee. Say hi po, Father.
Hello, magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga katipunero at katipunera na nakikinig sa Kuwentuhang Halalan at Bayan.
Ayan. And of course, kasama po natin from BARM as well is Father Rockmore Saniel, OMI, currently the GPG Director of CEAP BARM. Ayan, Father Rock.
Yes, thank you, Carlo. Good morning, everyone listening for this program ng radyo-katipunan, and I hope mag-enjoy kayo and you will learn something from this episode.
Yan, of course. And we'd love to call naman our guests, no, from Region 12 or the NDEA po, no. The first one is Miss Ellen Delosa. You can say hi. Nakamute po kayo. Ayun.
Hi, good morning po sa lahat na nakikinig. Especially sa ating mga tagapakinig from Notre Dame Educational Associations.
Ayun.
Sa Region 12.
Ayan. So si Miss Ellen po, ang currently the Regional Advocacy Representative po of EDEA. And of course, our youngest, and we'd really love to hear his perspective for today, is Mr. Philip Richard Rusina, who's currently the President of the Supreme Student Government of Notre Dame of CEAP College. Say hi, Philip.
Hello po, magandang umaga sa mga nakikinig po sa atin ngayon. I do hope that we'll mga nakikinig, abangan po natin kung ano yung magiging kalabasan ating mga
Ayan. So, ayan. So, I think thank you for, at least we have 4 guests who will be sharing their issues no, for today. And special shout out din po kay Father Nolan Ke, the trustee for the CAP and CR, who's also watching us. No? Sila. All right. See?
Alright. Maggawa muna tayo ng quick kamustahan with our guests, no? Kasi, at least for us dito sa near Manila, Carlo, di ba? Parang naalala mo, recently, sobrang taas talaga ng surge ng COVID-19. And parang yesterday, I think, is the highest, di ba? Daily tally ever. And I think maraming institution ang naging response nila, especially educational institutions, ay yung pagkakaroon ng health break, 'di ba? Um, kasama ba kayo dun, Carlo? Ako how I wish kasama din talaga yung mga ibang nagtatrabaho lalo na sa mga ibang institution affiliated to educational institutions, 'di ba? Pero gusto ko malaman kung kamusta ba yung ating mga guests na I think hindi naman lahat na naka-base sa Manila, 'di ba? And at the same time, hindi ko rin sure kung kamusta din yung lagay ng COVID and I want to know directly from them. So kamusta po kayo ngayon sa inyong mga lugar, ating mga guests?
Father Ed, yeah.
Dito sa Holosolo, kami nagpapasalamat sa Diyos sa gayon din sa pagtutulungan ng lahat sapagkat ngayon nasa level 2 kami, alert level 2. Hindi ganun karami ang mga, of course, meron din mga fatalities dahil sa COVID, magdadalawang taon na to, pero minimal siya na ma-manage. Patuloy yung vaccination program. Sa katunayan ngayon dito sa Notre Dame of Law College Covered Court, na nagkakaroon kami ng vaccination para sa mga estudyante namin at kayo din ng booster shots para sa aming mga employees. Dito sa Sulu, 25% pa lang ang na-vaccinate, so medyo mababa pa. Kaya sinusuporta namin ang local government unit saka ang Department of Health para may added protection dun sa COVID. Siyempre, yung observance ng mga health protocols, information campaign. So nagsimula kami nung klase actually last week at sa ngayon nandun kami sa regulated face-to-face na mga classes. So far kami ay nagpapasalamat dahil sa pagtutulungan nandun yung management noong pandemic dito sa Sulu, sa Tawi-Tawi at ibang parts din sa farm.
Thank you po, Father Ed. I think Father Rock wanted to share something din po. No? Kayo naman po, kamusta?
Yes, just like what Father Ed said, mentioned, parang almost the same lang din. In fact, siguro dito sa amin, okay naman. Less than 50% pa lang ang vaccinate kasi marami pa rin yung mga tao na parang ayaw. So, but the LGU, the government is still pushing na hanggang ngayon may nagba-vaccination pa rin sila dito sa isang area namin dito sa Mapon. But our students sa grade 15 to 18 years old na mga estudyante, more or less meron na kaming mga 80+% na estudyante na vaksinan. And one of our requirements later on, pag ma-push yung limited face-to-face by next school year, required talaga ng mga estudyante na mabaksinan na. So, yun yung maganda. Pero, dahil medyo malayo talaga yung Mapon, dito sa Mapon, no? Parang, hindi naman masyadong normal, but people can still do normal things like play basketball, play tennis, there you go. Mayroon kaming health break for our teachers this next week kasi a kind of preparation na rin for our recertification by January 20. So, days for that week, parang relax yung mga teachers just to review some notes and documents for the recertification. Yun po.
Yan, thank you. Thank you, Father Rock. No? Grabe, minsan mapaisip ako, kailan na ba last nag-basketball? Ganun naman bagay. That seems like a 2019 thing. Parang yung naiisip nyo, no? But that's good to hear, no? At least some sense of normalcy po, no? Na nangyari dyan po sa Mapon. Kayo naman po, Ma'am Ellen, from Union 12.
Kasi I'm connected with Notre Dame of Messiah College, the first Notre Dame school in Asia. So sa amin naman sa school, 100% na po yung vaccinated with sa personnel, and sa students, almost 90%. So last November to November 29 to December 1, yung rest bakunahan. So our school is one of the venues for the rest bakunahan para na rin promote natin yung vaccination talaga na kailangan. So, halos lahat may booster shot na po. So, yun po. So, we will be having our limited face-to-face classes for the college unit this end of January. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Ma'am Ellen. Nakakatawa, no, Carlo? Kahit papaano yung vaccination rate, no, na-achieve talaga, especially among students. And issue din to sa Metro Manila kasi malaki pa talaga yung vaccination hesitancy, di ba? And lalo na for students, malapit na yung mga ina-explore na face-to-face. And I think important talaga na ma-educate yung mga students. And kasama sa guest natin ngayon ay isang student, si Philip, di ba? Ikaw, kamusta ka ba? Nakapag-vaccinate ka na ba? And how are you feeling right now?
So, opo, nakapag-vaccinate na po last August. And I also had my booster shot last December 21. So, I'm encouraging also my fellow students to be vaccinated. And if you're eligible to have your booster shot, kindly avail, no, if it is available in your area, because some of our schools are already now implementing the limited face-to-face classes. So let's have that shot that will protect us and give us an avenue to go back to school safely. Yeah.
Very presidential si Philip. No, Carlo?
Oo nga naman. As president of the student government, call talaga, no? Which is great, no? And I think later we can deep dive in for that. That might be an issue happening in the locality, no? But sige, let's jump straight into the issue, no? Yung gusto po natin pag-usapan ngayong araw, no? I guess, and we'd love to start, no, with Father Ed's opinion. I guess, what are the common education issues, no, that you are finding, no, in the BARM area? And I guess specifically, no, we know that for example, the BARM government is in transition, no. So I was wondering how the education institutions actually are managing amidst this form of transition, din po, no. So I guess we can start with that. What are the common education issues that we're seeing, Father Ed?
Well, just like in other regions, definitely economics, no, play a crucial role in terms of the continuing as well as quality education of students. Here in Sulu, for example, about 74% of the population live below poverty line. So you can just imagine its impact in terms of education as well as in terms of basic health needs as well as the other needs of every family. So poverty definitely is a major issue. And because of poverty, a lot of students are deprived of that right to education, particularly quality education. So it has an impact, particularly in the private schools, because most of the students actually go to public schools for their education, and they are not given choices in that sense, no. And in the same way, there is a lot of competition, exodus of our teachers to public schools and state universities because of the vast disparity in terms of the salaries as well as the allowances. So these are issues that need to be addressed because each Filipino student has a right to choose. And the access to quality education because they are all taxpayers. So education must be based on complying with standards in terms of teaching and learning as well as the all other aspects.
Thank you for that, Father Ed. And I think that's something that the CAP, together with other private schools, have also been saying, no, the right, I guess, of students to pick, no. And I guess the complication, the dynamics, especially, no, in a region that needs, in a sense, developmental support. I think what Father Ed shared about grabe yung poverty incidents, no. In that sense, when Catholic schools end up in areas, no, for example, in Sulu, we know na may limitation talaga in terms of how much tuition you can ask, di ba? Parang because of the economic situation of and because there is limited tuition, no? Understandably limited yung income ng school, and because of that, there really is a problem in terms of how much can I really pay my, di ba, my teachers with the limitations. And if I increase my tuition naman, hindi na siya ma-access, which defeats the purpose of the mission, right? Which is to grant access actually to these communities, no? So actually that dynamics is actually very difficult, no, to contend with, no, in areas where, for example, mataas yung poverty incidents, and I think that's where government conversations on complementarity, no, of provisional education comes in, no? But yeah, thank you for that, Father Ed. No? Maybe I'll go with Miss Ellen. No? Maybe Miss Ellen has some issues naman to share, no, from the perspective of NDEA and Region 12.
Okay, so the same with Father Ed, like dito sa amin sa Region 12, especially this time of pandemic. So, nag-struggle talaga yung education sector natin. So, one of the issues, kasi halos lahat yung learning modality is online class because hindi pwede yung face-to-face classes. So, yung problema is especially yung far-flung areas. So, though we shifted to online, but yung learning modality of our poor communities, so mabihind talaga po sila. So, yun po yung pressing problem ng ating region, especially during these pandemic times.
So one of the significant ones really is access. Save go.
Opo. Yes po.
Nabanggit ni Ma'am Ellen yung about sa parang infrastructure kasi nagbago nga yung mode ng pagtuturo, 'di ba? And gusto ko malaman straight from Philip kung ano yung experience niya and yung experience ng mga students dun sa pag-adjust dun sa mga access na yun sa educational infrastructure. Lalo na yung online. Kamusta ba, Philip?
So yun nga, no? So the school shifted to online delivery of education as soon as the pandemic started. So further adjustments talaga yung ginawa ng mga students. Ang iba po, those who can afford, nag-invest sa mga laptops, sa mga internet infrastructure sa bahay nila, nagpa-install ng Wi-Fi. Then yung iba namili ng mga prepaid Wi-Fi. Then also sa ng activities, sometimes nahihirapan kasi challenge talaga sa lugar, especially dito sa atin sa Philippines, ang internet connectivity. So we cannot really deny that. So kapag may loss of internet connection, so parang nagkakagulo na, no? So we experienced that yung pag-hit ng Typhoon Odette na it was exam week namin yon. So all the exams were moved, were postponed because due to that kasi nawalan lahat ng connectivity. So it is really hard, no? For me and also for other students, especially those who are not really well off, no? Yung nag-rely lang sa cellphone, yung nagapa-load lang, and sometimes hindi pa guaranteed yung signal nila na malakas. So, yun yung challenges talaga. So, having the online mode of education is really quite a challenge, no, to everyone.
Although curious ako, Philip, meron bang mga government support na o public support na binibigay sa mga students? Even sa mga students ng mga private schools, di ba? Parang yung ibang lugar nagbibigay pa din ng help yung government nila. Kamusta ba yung in terms of public support yan?
In terms naman of public support, namimigay naman yung mga local government units and private sectors ng mga bond papers doon sa ating public schools, no, to support the modular learning. But when it comes to online, parang some schools, no, like us here in NDMC, namigay kami ng mga gadgets. Then also yung sa office nila Ma'am Ellen, nagpaano sila ng as part of NDMC's 80th founding anniversary, nagkaroon ng pa-Wi-Fi sa isang barangay po dito sa Midsayap, kung saan libre po yun ma-access ng mga students, both NDMC ka man or hindi ka taga NDMC, as long as you're having online mode of education. So yun yung some of the na ginawa para at least ma-alleviate yung natin towards this online education and the distance learning that the education sector is implementing.
Ang ganda, no? Because in the midst of, in a sense, the challenges, no, sa education sector and the shift to online, we see people, parang bayanihan din, no? Parang nagtutulungan talaga. And the effort to really get students to continue education, no? In the middle of a pandemic is really there. And I think that's something that it's really worth applauding talaga, no? We know it's difficult, and yet nagko-continue po, no? Maybe Father Rock, you have additional points that you may want to add to the conversation based on your observations then. And yeah.
Yes, sige. Sa akin, siguro dagdag lang, aside doon. One is, isa sa mga major concerns and issues ngayon sa BARM when it comes to education is yung sa issue ng ESC and voucher system natin. Kasi nga, the national government is proposing na ibibigay na ngayon sa BARM. But the BARM insisted na hindi kasali doon sa block grant na nakuha nila during the last budget deliberation. And so ito yung mga ginagawang proposal ngayon. May mga position letter ang private schools dito sa BARM in particular to really come up with a position na hayaan mo na ang national government to give that budget for this school year. Kasi nga, yun yung problema. Ang malaking tulong ang role ng budget ng national government through ESC and voucher program for in the private schools. In fact, literally, we cannot really move kung wala yung ganong laking support ng government sa mga private schools. Kasi doon, parang sunod-sunod na yun eh. Kung walang budget, saan kukunin yun? In fact, you mentioned already kanina, hindi pwedeng ang private mag-increase na lang na mag-increase ng tuition kasi maraming mga bata and families that can't afford private schools, and yet they are very much willing na makapunta o makatungtong man lang sa private schools. So yan yung mga isang issues, and we are hoping na may magandang development after a couple of days siguro, and after a couple of weeks, para ma-assure ang private schools na ma-push yung ginagawang program at mga proposed plans for this school year para sa mga schools. Now, another is, yung isa sa mga concerns ng private schools is actually ang pagpili at pag-decide. Ilan ba ang kaya kong ipakunin? For example, scholarship. Kasi maraming mga bata who are living in poor families, pero gustong-gusto nila sa private schools. Okay? Without comparison with other, with the public schools. Pero may mga bata na gusto. And yung isa sa mga problema namin is, wala na. Ito lang yung ESC grant na binigay sa amin. Ano yung magiging isang role and decision ng school? Yun yung mga issues na pinag-iisipan namin. Ilang bata ba kailangan namin o pwede namin kunin, idagdag sa scholarship namin program just to help them especially. And siguro isa sa mga, especially during this, another is, during this time of pandemic, isa sa mga concern talaga ng education, especially here in BARM, is yung educational processes ng mga bata ngayon. Natututo pa ba sila? Kasi siguro, majority of the schools, private schools dito, hindi naman siguro majority, but big number of schools here in BARM, ay actually doing just MDL, no? Module distance learning. Kasi wala kaming connections sa internet. And ito yung magiging question, what will be the effect of this? Kasi this has been going through like 2 years. Ano yung magiging epekto nito in the long run? Sa teachers as well, sa mga estudyante as well. At paano yun magiging makakatulong ba yun? Ano yung magiging disadvantage nun? Ano yung magiging approach? Para bang susundan lang ba ng mga teachers kung ano yung last na topic na di-discuss ng last or previous? Kasi mga ganong cases ba? So, yung mga academic, siguro, in terms of academics, malaki yung challenge, especially in BARM. Kasi walang internet, walang information. Siguro yung mga teachers din, napapagod din minsan gumawa ng modules at saka hindi rin masyadong maganda minsan magbigay ng modules o ibibigay modules. Ang nagsasagot yung mga parents, yung mga ganong mga issues. So still, like in other schools and regions maybe, ito rin ay isa sa mga major concerns nila. Kailan ba tayo yung magsisimula mag-limited face-to-face para maging balik sa normal?
Thank you, Father Rock. No, that's interesting, no, because normally in conversations we talk about connectivity, no, kasi people assume na pandemic online learning agad, no. But it's good that you highlighted MDL, yung module distance learning, no. So to a certain extent, parang nagiging self-learning siya, or actually yung magulang talaga yung di ba, dinadaanan nila yung mga modules to actually help, no. And that poses a whole new level, no, of conversation altogether. But thank you for raising that. No? I think Ma'am Ellen wants to add something to that.
Okay. I will add also regarding yung scholarship grant ng CHED. So, our NDEA schools in Region 12, special sa college unit, may CHED scholarship program, yung sa Unifast, na each scholar will receive 30,000 per semester. So, kabuuang 60,000 a year. So, yun po ang most of our students naka-avail po ng scholarship grant from CHED. Especially, hindi lang dito sa NDMC, but the whole NDEA schools, institution na yung mga college. And of course, yung sabi ni Father Rock, yung ESC, meron po yung mga secondary schools natin dito sa Region 12. So, with regards naman yung help natin regarding the module printing ng DepEd, no? Di ba DepEd is using the module mode nila yung learning modality. So, NDMC, since it is our mission to help our partner schools, so we covered 10 DepEd schools here in our district, na kami po yung NDMC nagpiprint ng mga modules nila for the yung 1 year na module ng DepEd schools. So malaking tulong din as NDEA associations na nakatulong kami doon sa mga nangangailangan, especially in this time of pandemic. Okay po.
Bayanihan talaga, Carlo, no? Parang nakita ko iba't ibang help nang kagaling from government, from mismong private sector, at mismong yung mga students, di ba? Yung mga magulang at teachers, talagang combined efforts, lalo na hirap talaga ngayong pandemic. Although curious po ako kasi mga nabanggit nyo na rin kanina, yung mga iba't ibang kind of support na nagagawa, kagaya yung ESC, paano siya pwedeng ma-expand para unti-unting mabawasan yung gap dun sa choice ng schooling ng mga estudyante, and yung mga iba't ibang tulong pagdating sa modular learning. Curious po ako kung ano pang mga klase ng policies yung ine-expect or parang gusto nyo pong hilingin na sana yun yung maging focus ng mga tumatakbo ngayon. No? Medyo tatalon tayo ng konti sa halalan na. Kasi pansin ko din, nagsisimula na yung iba na mga politiko na magsabi ng mga gagawin nila, diba, in terms of education. Pero mostly yung naririnig ko, hindi gaanong specific pagdating sa bagong klase ng learning, diba? Ang naririnig ko lang, gagawa ng paaralan, etc. And yung pinaka-close na when it comes to this new hybrid system of learning is yung internet infrastructure. Pero syempre, hindi rin malinaw kung gaano ka-accessible yon and ano talaga yung maitutulong nun pagdating sa mga local local na areas. Sa inyo po, ano po yung locally parang specific na gusto nyong maging policy pagtuunan ng mga politiko pagdating sa kanilang plataforma. Start siguro tayo kay Father Ed. Yan. Go, Father Ed.
Yes. Well, we look forward to an incentive program or package for schools that perform in terms of provide quality education. So if there is a certification from regulatory bodies or accrediting bodies that these particular schools perform well and provide quality education, then they can be provided with certain packages. For example, more scholarships, for their students. And then, of course, in relation to what had been discussed earlier, the subsidy for teachers may also be increased, not only for high school students, but also senior high school students, as well as tertiary students. So this will require a lot of funding, but the incentive program will really boost the quality of education in the Philippines, as well as the opportunities of students to really develop as total persons.
All right. Thank you, Father Ed. Anyone else po? Father Rock?
Yes, just like mentioned already, Father Ed, I actually, kasi may bumisita dito na politician, and I thought asking that politician to, to create, sabi ko, hindi lang one time, hopefully, parang long-term, natulong. So I offered, in fact, a letter, and then sabi ko, pwede bang may scholarship grant? Kahit ilan yung estudyante, depende sa kanya, and then may certain amount lang every year until makatapos yung bata to senior high school. That, I'm still waiting kung ano yung magiging, sabi daw okay. So yun yung isang mga proposals namin when it comes to helping education ng mga kabataan. And siguro ang isang, siguro, sabi ko, kaya na-mention ni Ma'am Helen kanina, yung collaboration ba ng private and public schools? Hopefully, ang LGU can initiate that program ba, yung system na yun, to create, kung hindi, kasi ako, for example, bago pa ako dito, may iya din ako na sabihan yung mga ibang mga teachers, heads ng schools dito, public schools, na mag-create tayo ng grupo and then to collaborate ba regularly to meet, discuss, paano tayo makakatulong sa isa't isa. So hopefully the LGU can create with that kind of platform, format ba, na para regularly ma-address yung anyong needs ng mga schools. Kasi ang problema ko, ang concern ko is kapag lumalapit lang tayo during election time, malapit election time, then after that, walang mangyari nun. Pero kung may certain platform or program ang LGU to create sa kanya-kanyang munisipyo na regularly ipapatawag, then discuss ano bang kailangan ninyo, ano bang pwedeng magawa. So hopefully that could help the community.
Thank you for that, Father Rock. Kasi interesting, no? Right now we're doing some consultations across regions also, no, and we're realizing, and one of the common concerns usually coming out, especially at the tertiary level, no, yung competition, di ba? Parang may programa yung private school already, HEI, a private HEI has this program, tapos yung SUC magdadagdag pa ng programa na yun, no? So in that sense, di ba, parang and free education, of course, sa SUCs, no, or sa mga local and doon na pupunta, no. And in that sense, it creates certain tensions also, right? And I was wondering, maybe it might be the local government's role at some point, right, or CHED, to get the schools to really talk, no. At the end of the day, if the goal is quality education, no, baka that's something to think about if we're going to frame it that way. But interestingly, the tensions nga, tama nga yung sasabi ni Father Rockmore, baka maganda nga nag-uusap to collaborate. Because at the end of the day, we want the same outcome, which is really, a more educated population, quality education access din. No? Baka si Ma'am Ellen wants to start off the conversation from and then of course we'd love to hear the thoughts of Philip there in terms of youth policies naman sa tingin mo makatulong.
Okay. Sa point of view ko naman yung selecting our future leaders. So I want the leaders who will always be the yung yung kanyang perspective is always sa needs ng mga poor, no? Poor families, the education of the children, mga criminal activities is involved by the minors. So, kailangan talaga na mas pagtuunan ng pansin sa future leaders natin yung education. And I also, of course, kasi I am into advocacy programs, yung outreach program. So, I would like that our future leaders na ma-implement or mag-support talaga yung ating programs ng CEAP, yung i-support talaga yung GIP pillars. Okay? Kasi parang package na doon yung justice and peace, ecological integrity, engaged citizenship, gender inequality, and youth empowerment. Pag our future leaders would support that program, makikita natin na mayroong improvement yung ating education sector. Okay. Yan lang po.
Thank you. Baka si Philip naman, no? How about you? Maybe there are specific education policies that you think would be helpful, no? For the young, from your perspective as part of the youth sector.
Okay, so for the youth naman sa aming mga policies na so I think we should have the politicians should have a strong policy on this upcoming face-to-face classes, no, para we could really determine kung ano yung mga isa-set up namin ng mga parameters, and also policies on students activities, no, because ito yung hinahanap ng mga estudyante na ngayon, yung mga student activities, no, na sana hinahanap na mabuksan at saka ma-implement, because student activities are a way to engage our students and mapahilayo sila sa mga bad activities na nagiging rampant na ngayon. And also to the politicians, maybe you can have also incentive programs, especially those sa mga sporting events, no, dahil most of our students are excelling in sports. So I really admire yung ginawa ng aming Sangguniang Kabataan Municipal Federation dito, na nagkaroon ng what you call this resolution, na kung saan ang mga mag-uuwi ng mga awards coming from provincial, regional, and national, and even international sporting events ay magkakaroon ng incentive rewards program, no, magkakaroon sila ng cash prize, no, kapag nakauwi sila ng mga ganung na mga recognitions. So I do hope that that will be institutionalized, not just only here in our municipality, but also nationally, regionally, provincially. So parang it is one way to encourage and to engage, no, the learners to be not proactive both in academics and in sports, no, because marami ng mga scholarship grants, marami ng scholarship programs. So we also have to have some sports incentives, no, to engage our learners more.
Ganda kasi holistic formation, no? In that sense, it's not just the formation of the mind, but also the formation, no, of the body and skills. Especially ngayon, no, nakikita ko yung balita in terms of support for athletes talaga. It's a bit disappointing, no, na para napupolitika pa yung mga performing artists natin, no. And this, how do you create, no, environment that will be supportive? But thank you, Philip. I know that's a good perspective. Actually, first time ko pa ata yung naririnig right now, no. So thank you for raising that. First time sa mga radyo-katipunan programs natin na raise yung sa sports development. Save, I think you wanted to add something, no?
Yung sa sports, maganda talaga yung tinukoy mo, Philip, no? Kasi naging issue ngayon dahil nga sa pandemic, talagang hindi nakakapag-train, lalo na yung mga athletes. Hirap na hirap sila. Bukod pa dun sa sinabi ni Carlo na structural problem na hindi ganun ka-organize yung support pagdating sa mga athletes. Tapos nadagdagan pa ng issue nung pandemic, di ba? Mas lalo silang nahirapan. And nakakatuwa lang kasi yung gusto mo makapag-produce talaga tayo ng mga world-class athletes. I think totoo naman na maraming magagaling, but given yung sa condition talaga ng Pilipinas, nakakalungkot kasi even for example lang to sa basketball, maraming lumilipat na ng league sa Japan kasi mas may opportunity doon, 'di ba? Mas nakapagawa sila ng structure na makakapaglaro. Dito hindi nakakapaglaro ng mga professional liga dahil sa mga COVID restrictions, 'di ba? So nakakaapekto talaga dun sa formation ng mga maraming athlete yung nangyari ngayong pandemic. And I think, kasi 'di ba parang criticism lagi pagdating sa SK, puro daw sports, 'di ba? Pero siguro okay lang naman talaga may sports, 'di ba? Tama, Carlo? Pero ang feeling ko, kailangan lang malinaw kung, para saan, 'di ba? Or ano yung goal nung formation na ginagawa at hindi lang sports yung, tinututukan kumbaga. Nakikita din yung ibang aspect ng proyekto, holistic kumbaga, 'di ba? Pero yun,
Oo,
thank you
parang
Philip for raising that.
parang to push for sports excellence, no? In that sense, and really that's the talent of the youth, and I think the education sector has something to do naman din, no, with the development of such talents, no? Kasi dumadaan naman din sa mga eskwelahan. I guess before we go to the next question, shout out na lang din sa mga nakikinig po kila Dr. Loretta, nakikinig kayo sa Facebook. Good morning. Kay Akoshe Montefay from FSC City of Ilagan, o Isabela, no? Meron din man nanonood from St. Mary's Academy of Capi, si Shaila Palmes, si Jen Katimbang, at saka si Mendoza yun. Meron din from Baguio. No? So madami actually din nakikinig from other regions, no? And I'm quite sure they're resonating with the issues as well. No? Sige, let's move away a bit from education, no, and I guess deep dive into some of the local issues, no. So alam naman natin ang election madalas pangalan, no, and palagi namin sinasabi ni Save, kailangan natin i-resist yon, no, in a certain extent, no. Our politicians and those running to become public servants, whether you're SK, barangay, mayor, councilor, up to the president, senator, sana naman, no, pinapag-usapan nyo ano ba yung mga kailangan pag-usapan ng mga issues sa lokal, no? And I'd love to hear, and we can start again with Father Ed, no? What do you think maybe sa'yo, top of mind, critical issues that need to really be addressed in the BARM region?
There are many critical issues, but one definitely is the care of the environment, because the environment impacts politics, education, livelihood, and health. And of course, if there is the neglect or the abuse of the environment, inversely, there is also that impact in terms of typhoons and floods, as well as human as well as natural disasters. So it is important to come up with a comprehensive, unified plan in terms of ensuring the care of the environment, the management of waste products, and then of course the use of renewable energy, whether that may mean solar energy or through wind or through other means. It will have an impact in all the aspects of society. So it will require a lot of budget and finance, but it will also require a lot of planning, a lot of competence, and of course, the collaboration of all the stakeholders. So that is true not only in the local level, but also in the regional and the national level as well.
Father Ed, ano yung mga particular issues sa environment na mayroon sa BARM? Pagka-remember ko kasi parang, di ba, hindi normally typhoon pass, pero yung normal conversations about typhoons, di ba? Pero sa pagdating po ba sa BARM, ano po yung mga local issues na particular?
Well, in the BARM region, usually, no, we're not part of the typhoon belt, no. But of course, in a way, we are also affected by the tail end of storms and typhoons. For example, in the case of Typhoon Odette, we were hardly affected, no, by the destruction that it brought about in some parts of Mindanao, particularly the Visayas. But at the same time, if there is, for example, a change of the environment because of global warming, there are more typhoons, or inversely, there are droughts, then it impacts water supply. It impacts, for example, the safety of the population and community, as well as that of the destruction of property. So here in Sulu, for example, we are fortunate enough, particularly also in Tawi-Tawi, I don't think we experience volcanic eruptions, too many earthquakes and typhoons, but we are also affected, of course, by typhoon storms, particularly in central Mindanao, no? typhoons, torrential rains, drought are more prevalent in those particular areas. So the solution must also be national and macro, as of course local, in terms of in the local level, what can be done in order to harness renewable sources of energy. But again, this will require a lot of funding, planning, as well as the support of the national government.
Ang ganda ng pagka-raise mo ni Father Ed, no, sa NPI, especially becoming more and more critical. And for those who follow, for example, yung mga climate negotiations, no, it's really getting more and more frustrating. Parang kumukonte ang oras dati, no, when it comes to these issues, especially sabi nga nila the deadline for radical reforms is by 2030, di ba? Parang ganun. And that's literally in 8 years, no. Maybe jumping from Father Ed, I'd like to hear actually the thoughts of Philip naman, no, when it comes to this. Of course, ano naman din for you would be critical issues that you see in your locality din, no, when it comes to the upcoming elections.
Yeah, so I really do agree with Father Ed, no. The environment really needs our help at this point of time because natural calamities are getting worse. We are experiencing the effects of climate change already. So here in our locality also, we also need to have a concrete solution to the climate problem, to address the environment problems that we are facing, especially that during pag malakas naman yung ulan, no? So some of our barangays here are prone to flooding, no? So I do hope our local officials will have the a policy on that, no, on that issue. Also, issue on peace and security because recently we have a bombing near in our adjacent municipality in Alyosan, yung isang bus na binombahan, no. So I do hope that our future leaders will have to address the long-standing problem on security that we are facing. Then also, as the youth also, we also want to have a concrete solution on out-of-school youth, especially that some of these are nag-rampant siya, especially during this pandemic na ang iba nag-stop na lang because due to sa delivery of education and many other factors, no. Then also we wanted to avoid the politicians to have what they call this earlier na pag nila ngayong politics, no, because it really affects our government, you know, especially here in our province. Nagkakaroon ng problems between the executive and the legislative because hindi sila magkasundo, issues after that. Some meron pang iba doon in our sa neighboring namin din na municipality. There also is a problem doon sa mayor nila dahil pinasuspend daw, then may decision naglabas na ng decision ang sangguniang panlalawigan at hindi kinilala dahil may pa from the office of the president. So parang nagkalituhan, and that affects also the LGU employees kasi hindi marirelease yung sweldo ng employees. So we do hope for that, no, because as the youth, no, the hope of the tomorrow, as we are ang pag-asa ng bayan, yan yung nakikita namin, namumulat namin. So I do hope that that will change, no, and that will improve because in the end of the day, ang apektado hindi lang sila kundi ang buong bayan at especially yung tao po.
Nice. Thank you for that, Philip. No? That's a really good perspective, especially for out-of-school youth. I think it has increased talaga. No? It's in the hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, that have already lost, in a sense, motivation to study, because of the complexities of what's happening. And understandably, peace and security. And I think every time before we got involved in, for example, sa SLB, got involved in conversations about peace and even dun sa Bangsamoro Organic Law, no, we understand that underlying issues talaga in Mindanao is peace and security, but we know deeper than that are issues na ni-raise ni Father Ed, like poverty and whatnot. So medyo malalim na reforms and developmental work actually yung kinakailangan din, no, from the leaders who will come up there. No? Baka si Miss Ellen, would you want to share your thoughts then on issues that you feel needs to be talked about?
Same with Father Ed, na yung environment issues talaga, kailangan pagtugunan ng ating government leaders kasi like ngayon, kung may mga calamities, so nasa environment sector pa rin yung ating yung main, no, yung cause ng bottom line of the issue. So same with the justice and peace, kasi pag may peace na, of course, may development na po yung area natin. Then yung concrete plans and programs for our out of school youth talaga, especially the poor children, the poor out of school youth. Yun lang po.
And of course, last but not the least, Father Rock, kayo naman po, issues that you feel needs to be discussed. No?
No, I was I was able to watch this short video of Lee Kuan Yew, the late Lee Kuan Yew, the former Prime Minister of Singapore, and he mentioned about what he did to Singapore. Isa sa mga problema before Singapore became Singapore is because of language and corruption. Yung dalawang bagay. Yung language kasi nagkakaiba, hindi nagkakaintindihan yung mga tao. And corruption is because people have other things, concerns in life. Dito naman sa atin parang maraming ganon, no? There are a lot of issues, environmental issues, social issues, economic, cultural, psychological. Actually, they go hand in hand. Sabi nga nila, yung issues ng Mindanao, ng BARM, has long been a problem of Mindanao ever since. You know, yung problema is nagpapalit-palit ng mga priorities ang mga politicians. Maraming issues, kaya nga hindi nga siguro nasosolve kasi after ng isang term ng isang politician, another focus, another concern. So hindi para tagpi-tagpi ba? As mentioned by Father Ed kanina, maganda talaga kung macro level yung pag-approach ng mga issues. We know particular issues, yes. Okay. Pero kung ayusin talaga natin ang BARM, ayusin sana ang BARM, lahat yun titingnan yun. Lahat yun titingnan yun. Economic, yung trabaho ng mga tao. In particular dito sa amin, isa sa mga issues namin dito, although aside sa lagi naman yung corruption, no, is yung environment kasi dito maraming plastic. Hindi yung tao, yung mga plastic na bottle plastics, okay? And kasi island lang ito. And I realized walang napagpapatapunan ng plastic dito kasi walang basurahan, walang island to. So I just imagine 20-30 years from now, lulutang tong island namin dahil sa plastic. So yan yung mga environmental issues. Then I thought, baka pwedeng makabili ang LGU ng plastic shredder, yung mga ganong mga... So yung mga concerns dito. So yung ang sabi ko lang siguro is maraming issues and concerns na dapat tingnan. Ang BARM is just very new, ang BARM, okay? Alam ko maraming, if BARM, mga personnel dito nakikinig, and alam ko they have written a lot on how to work on the issues, okay? Hindi ko na pag-isa-isa, alam ko mas marami silang nalalaman doon. Maraming plano ang BARM, alam nila lahat siguro ng mga issues, they heard and they learned about the issues. For many years, they have been working on that paper. Ang problema lang siguro dito sa lugar ng BARM is the implementation. Bakit hindi? Kailan ma-implement? And a lot of obstacles and challenges. Kaya siguro hindi lang ang BARM ang work. When we talk about BARM, parang LGU lang yan sila, government lang yan sila. So we have to work together. This is the secret siguro. We have to work together. The LGUs, the NGOs, private sectors, individual families, and citizens, we have to work together. Ang kulang lang siguro talaga sa atin, hindi lang sa BARM, kahit sa buong Pilipinas, is yung nationalism. Wala tayong love. Hindi ko naman sasabihin wala tayong love, no? Pero kulang tayo sa pagmamahal natin, sa lugar natin, sa country natin. We focus so much about ourselves. Kaya nga, cultural, marami yan. Kaya dito sa bar, maraming hindi agad maayos-ayos na mga programa. Why? Because for many years, we have been into war. Marami pang mga sugat na kailangan ayusin. Okay, marami tayong mga programs na maganda. But if the hearts of the people, that trust is not yet there, walang mangyayari pa rin. So yung mga ganun ba? So marami siya, so psychologically, emotionally, culturally, economically. So the government, BARM, together with all the citizens of Bangsamoro, has to work together, including us. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Rock. Important yung sinabi ni Father Rock Carlo, no? Yung sa about vote love. Na parang kulang, masasabi natin possibly kulang yung pagmamahal. Kasi yun yung nagmamanifest, di ba? Parang with the way the current political culture, di ba? Ganun yung nagmamanifest na kulang yung pagmamahal sa bayan dahil yung mga nangyayari nga ay paulit-ulit recurring problems. But then, naisip ko pares pinoint out ni Father Rock at saka ni Philip yung about sa political culture, sa kind of leaders that we have. Curious po ako, pagdating dun sa local elections po sa inyong mga kanya-kanyang lugar ngayon, ano po yung qualities ng local leaders na kailangan ng lugar mismo sa ngayon para ma-address yung local issues and in a way para makatulong na ma-address yung bigger like, national issues din. At the same time, gusto ko rin pong malaman kung may opportunity bang magkaroon ng leader. Kasi di ba normally pare-parehas lang din yung tumatakbo, pare-parehas lang din yung na-appoint. At gusto namin malaman kung sa inyong lugar ba may mga outlet, may mga opportunities para magkaroon tayo ng mas magagandang choices, mas magandang leaders, at makakapag-elect tayo ng mas magagaling na leaders po. Siguro we can go back to Father Rock or kahit sino po sa ating ibang guest.
Yes, ano bang klaseng leader? Dito, yun yung, I don't know if you know this, no? Malakas yung ano dito, yung family, blood related. Kahit anong prinsipyo ng ibang taong na maganda, if you are related to that blood, you have that responsibility to love that person and to support that person. Yung isa sa mga hindi mawala-wala sa kultura dito ng mga Muslim, no? I mean sa Mindanao. Kaya nga malakas dito yung sinatawag natin na dynasty, yung mga dynasty, no? Aside dito, malaking kaya nga ang politician kahit siguro ang problema ni kung may pera ka dito, kung may pamilya kang malaki dito, mananalo ka. Yun yung mga problema kasi dito. But yung concern na lagi na lang sila, paano kaya natin mawawala yun? Hindi natin basta-basta mawala yun. Kasi I tell you, kung ano yung nangyayari dito sa lugar namin, like for example di ko alam kung totoo to sa ibang lugar. Like for example, 3 days before ng election, kukunin na yung isang community, iha-house na yan doon, pakakainin yan. Yung mga pangalan nila, ay di ko alam kung anong gagawin. Basta automatic, bibigyan na lang sila ng pera at pagkain. Yun na yun, okay? Di ko alam kung nakapag-aral ba yun sila o hindi, okay? But, ganun yung sistema. Kailangan mo lang sumabay. Yung mga ganong klaseng sistema ba? Now, paano natin unang question ko is, paano natin madahan-dahan yun? Education talaga. People who are knowledgeable enough will not be easily convinced by other simple opinions and ideas. Kaya malaking role ng education. Now, kung ano yung kailangan natin na politician, para sa akin, sa akin kasi kailangan may love lang sa country at saka may skill siya, may alam, may track record. Now, if that will not happen, yun yung problema ngayon. Kasi ang nangyayari kasi sa atin, kapag hindi nanalo yung politician, yung pinili ko, I will never support that person. Yun yung mali sa atin. Yun yung mali sa marami sa atin. Kung sino ang mananalo, kahit alam natin na hindi yun naging tama, kailangan natin suportahan. I mean, hindi naman totally suportahan, but as much as possible, support kung ano yung maganda. Hindi yung sisiraan. Yung crab mentality lumalabas lagi sa atin. No? Kaya nga, ang problema, that question will have other problem eh. Sino ba ang gusto ko? Kung hindi yung gusto ko ang mananalo, I will never support that government. Yun yung maling pananaw. Kaya nga sa akin, at times, hindi ko sinasabi, no? Hindi ako nag-comment. Some of our religious leaders are presenting, wala akong comment doon. Pero ako, I will never I will never, hindi ako magsasabi ng kung sino, kasi baka maging unfair sa iba. But my point is this, kung sino yung mananalo, kung hindi man manalo yung gusto ko, I will still support. I will try to support as much as possible kung sino yung mananalo. Kasi ang leadership at times, sabi nga, siguro destiny, leadership at times, hindi lang dahil sa magaling siya, kung tayo rin ay naging sumusuporta sa kanya, yun yung kailangan i-work out. Kasi leadership natin kung siya lang lagi, parang gano'n. So sa akin, may mga leaders, I can never dictate kung sino yung magiging leader namin dito sa lugar namin. Okay? But kung sino man yung tutulungan ng school, tutulungan ko kung anong maabot na, kung ano ang makakaya ko. Yun yung sa akin siguro. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Rock. Napakagandang mensahe yun. Balikan natin later. Father Ed?
Yes, I agree with Father Rockmore that especially in the Barm region, it is basically dominated by traditional families and clans. Okay, so in some cases probably there are also opposition parties, but by and large, it is usually dominated by the traditional families and political clans. But what is important is there is also, probably it's slow, but there is a marked evolution in terms of the mindset of public servants, in terms of engagement, engagement with partners in terms of development and peace, not only in terms of the local government, but also in terms of NGOs, as well as like-minded institutions that promote genuine prosperity as well as peace. Education also plays a crucial role in terms of the shift, in terms of priorities of the leadership, because most of the leaders also have an opportunity to be educated, not only in the region, but also in other urban sectors or even abroad. The interaction, collaboration with other NGOs also challenge traditional frameworks, and this promote collaboration as well as a more holistic way of looking at things. Now, what are some of the qualities that I look for in a public servant? Basically, I summarize them into three. The three C's: competence, character, as well as commitment. So a leader must be competent. A leader must have a vision based, of course, on effective consultation with all the stakeholders, with the constituents. But he must also be a leader who know the direction, where to take or where to lead, where to inspire the community. Otherwise, if there is no clear vision and direction, then there will be chaos. Of course, he also has his counsel, he has his consultants. They will also provide valuable advice. But at the end of the day, he must make the decision and come up with a clear, articulated, as well as comprehensive vision. Second is character. And character can mean different qualities. One important quality, of course, is resiliency, especially in a time of the pandemic and crisis. Given the pandemic, given economic dislocation, how will leaders lead the community in order to respond to a particular crisis? Not only to survive, but to thrive as a nation as well as a community. And third is commitment, the follow through, that despite all these challenges and difficulties, that there is always that resolve to lead the country and the community to achieve visions, to sustain goals in order to achieve expected outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Father Ed. Napakadaling alalahanin yung kanya binigay na guidelines, kumbaga, yung 3 C's, no? Let's hear from Miss Ellen, Ma'am Ellen, and Philip.
Okay. So, dito naman sa aming locality, kahit sa Region 12. So, ang gusto ko po namin na leader na ma-elect, no, this coming elections, na hindi lang yung leader na during the election campaign, visible siya palagi sa area, no, sa community, just to give different services, but we want the leader na yung commitment to serve sa lahat ng development aspect sa community. No? So, dapat visible siya na hindi lang sa election campaign, but throughout the service niya as community leader or as mayor or as the president. So, dapat nakafocus talaga sa development efforts, yung commitment to serve, no? Commitment to serve sa community. So, and of course, since kami as NDEA-wide schools association, so bigyan talaga ng comprehensive plan or strategic plan yung component ng education, and of course the environment and justice and peace. So, yun po ang aking pananaw sa ating incoming leader. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Ellen. Go, Philip.
On my end naman, no, for me, yung leader na gusto namang, for me, no, na gusto ko ma-elect, no, here in our locality and also maybe in the national post is those leaders that are, tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Ellen, na a leader not just during election period, but also a leader throughout, no? What you call this, a leader that is a leader for all, hindi pinipili kung sino yung pinagsisilbihan niya. A leader who is tama yung kay Father Ed competent, a leader who knows, no, may alam, and a leader who cares, no. So may malasakit, kasangga ng tao, at malapit sa tao. Kasi may iba na leader lang pagdating ng eleksyon, pero pagkatapos ng eleksyon, hindi na ninyo mahagilap, hindi na makita. So that is one common here naman sa amin. So we do hope also that during this time of pandemic, na-open yung mga mata natin kung sino talaga yung tunay na mga leaders that are deserving of our vote. So that is from my side.
And thank you for everyone sharing. No? Ang ganda ng last point ni Philip, no, that this pandemic, the way that we've seen our leaders lead, no, whether it be in the local response and national response, has revealed a number of things. No, do they protect their own privileges? Do they understand the situation of people? No, when we pass policies, did we consult and really understand ang pinagdadaanan ng mga tao? No, there's really a lot revealed. No, and we saw who rose and stepped up to the challenge and who were the ones who did not, no, in that sense. And I think this elections is critical in that manner, no, that the 2022 will determine our steps forward, no. The pandemic will last for a few more months probably, or I don't know until when, no. But hopefully we need leaders who will address. No? We've also been able to talk about a lot of things, no, today, and we really thank our guests. But I guess as we close, maybe we'll just have one quick round, no, of maybe just some closing words that you want to share with our audience today as we close our program. No? And we'd love to start with Philip. Reverse naman tayo, no? Kasi parang palagi si Philip yung nahuhuli sa mga natin. Ikaw naman, Philip, with the closing, siguro, comments and words.
So, to the youth, no, let us maintain our good standings in our studies, and let us be the change that our nation needs. Let us live up to the challenge and be stewards of God's creation. So I know that we are facing a lot, especially in this time of pandemic, in this greatest health crisis that we have faced. But I know that the Filipino youth is resilient and can be able to adhere and to adapt to the challenges, especially in this 21st century, that I know really suits us. So let us continue and be the hope that our nation needs us to be. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Philip. Ma'am Ellen naman po.
Okay, so as the NDAA-wide associations sa Region 12, tayo po ay nagpo-promote, no, since election is coming. So we have, one of our plans is to have a voters education forum para sa ating mga botante, para alam natin sino yung karapat-dapat at ano talaga yung dapat gawin natin para at least magkaroon tayo ng changes na ating the changes na we are hoping in the future. So let's continue and sustain our collaboration with the different line agencies, our stakeholders, our partners sa education sector, and even sa ating social services sector. So, kasi pag malakas tayo, so mayroong development efforts talaga na buo ang ating kampanya para sa development ng ating region, ng ating schools, and even sa ating community and sa buong Pilipinas. Yun lang po at good noon sa lahat.
Thank you. Thank you so much po, Ma'am Ellen. Kayo naman po, Father Rock.
Yes, una gusto ko magpasalamat for this opportunity na maka-share dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Thank you, Carlo, Xavier, those mga bisita natin, kasama ako. Sa akin lang siguro sa mga nakikinig, huwag mawala ng pag-asa. It's not yet too late for our country, for our BARM. Marami pa tayong magagawa. And especially for the young people, okay? Make good decision, right? Vote wisely, just for this one time, para sa future ninyo at para sa future ng ating bansa. Salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Father Rockmore, with that reminder, no? Not to lose hope. And of course, Father Ed Santoyo.
Thank you, Sir Carlo, Sir Xavier, for inviting us in Radyo Katipunan and then the Kuwentuhang Halalan. I also thank Father Rock, Sir Rushana, Ma'am Delosa, no, for joining us in this very informative and impactful session. I believe that life is about choices, and the choices we make either create opportunities or deprive us of opportunities. So there are a lot of choices we need to make, particularly with regard to the elections, with regard to future public servants. But at the same time, it also reminds us of our choice to do our part in terms of nation building in areas of education, ecology, economics, and relationships. So let us do our part. Let us participate in the elections in 2022. Let us participate in the education campaign, in the prayer, in the discernment, in the mobilization, and also in the tough but challenging work of nation building. So thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our guests. And of course, passing this on to you, Save.
Ayun, maraming salamat po sa mga guests para sa napaka-enriching na talakayan at input. Siguro as a parting remark lang din po, marami tayong pinag-usapang issue, marami sa local at marami ang kailangang i-address sa macro level, kagaya na banggit ni Father Ed. And karamihan sa mga pinag-usapan natin, kailangan talaga ng whole of society approach. Punta man tayo sa education, sa other issues like peace and security, kailangan talaga na lahat gumagalaw. And very memorable sa akin yung sinabi ni Father Rock na kung manalo yung hindi gusto, kailangan pa rin nating in a way magbigay ng ating ambag, ng ating engagement, kahit gaano kahirap. At siguro dadagdagan ko yun, parang kung manalo yung gusto natin, di mas lalo na tayo makialam. Hindi natin kailangang hayaan lang na yung politikong manalo. siya lang yung magdedesisyon, gagalaw ng lahat. At the end of the day, nakita ko doon sa mga pagbabahagi na hindi magdedepend talaga sa politiko yung pag-address dun sa maraming issues, kundi pati sa mga voters, pati dun sa mga leaders sa mga community, kahit hindi politiko. Talagang nakadepend sa how much engagement yung ibibigay nila. At nakadepende din sa choice nila kung paano sila gagalaw sa community, di ba? So, yun po. Maraming salamat po dun sa mga natutunan namin ni Carlo. For sure, marami from our guest. At yun, Carlo?
At maraming salamat din sa lahat, of course, na nakinig sa ating programa at sumubaybay. Of course, next Friday, magkakaroon tayo ng programa and we'll be featuring Region 1 and CAR naman. No? So please watch out for our programs. Continue to invite your students as well, teachers to listen in, to learn from the stories, no, of our different regions. No? So this is Kuwentuhang Halalan by Radio-Katipunan and Kuwentuhang Bayan of SLB. Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang socio-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.